once-in-a-lifetime shots detail some of these shots. Please welcome Roger.
Once-in-a-lifetime shots, we've all had them. A once-in-a-lifetime shot to me is something that is so unique in our experience that it would be very difficult, if not impossible, to duplicate that event. I experienced once-in-a-lifetime shots as an athlete, as an explorer/hunter, and as a 9 to 12-year-old boy that was put here to terrorize the world. My gift to you today is to give you an opportunity to look back into your life and recognize once-in-a-lifetime shots that you may have made and take a look at them from a perspective of what did you learn from them. There were 3 types of once-in-a-lifetime shots that I learned from: the regretful shot, the athletic shot, and the hunter's shot. The regretful shot, the slingshot. As about an 8-year-old, a lot of kids used to play Indians and cowboys. We played slingshots. We made these little slingshots out of bobby pins. Very powerful, only about that big. Could sling a BB at a long distance very accurately. David was up in the window in the second story of his home, had to get up on a box to look out the window with his slingshot. His brother and I were down on the ground, hiding behind bushes and around a home, watching him in that window. He would rise up, take a shot at us, and go back down. And I was watching that and kind of timing it. And one time he rose up, I came around the corner, I took my little slingshot and I binged it. I zinged this BB at him and hit that imaginary bullseye in the middle of his forehead. I knocked him off that box and we didn't see him at the window for several seconds. And what seemed like a long time went by where we heard nothing. And then the most terrible screams and yells and crying that you have ever heard started coming out of that window. We ran up to that house, his brother and I, and by the time we got there, his mother was cradling in her arms and giving me the look of death. Well, he survived. I almost didn't. The athletic shot, the basketball game, the 8th grade basketball game. We were behind by 8 points with just a couple of minutes left in the game. I'd already lost my starting job to the new kid. But the new kid wasn't doing so hot either. So the coach put me back in with the instructions to pass the ball. Well, being a guard, I brought the ball up the next time up the court, passed the half court line, and got to the top of the key. And to my amazement, I was not being guarded. There was nobody on me. And I could feel the coaches, pass the ball, pass the ball. But instead, I took that jump shot and swish, it was now a 6-point game. The next time down the court, we held them scoreless. And again, I'm bringing the ball up. And as Yogi used to say, it was deja vu all over again. I crossed that half court line, got to the top of the key, and I could feel the coach's admonition. Pass that ball, pass that ball. Instead, that ball, the next thing I know, is headed towards the rim, and swish! It's now a 4-point game, and the crowd, all 10 to 15 of them, is going Well, that's as close as we got in that game to winning it. But those 2 shots gave me my moment in the sun in basketball. My hunting shot, the deer hunt. I brought that 30-06 home from Kmart and gingerly opened the box to not disturb it. I took that 30-06 out, which I had never shot a rifle like that, which went well with the fact that I'd never been deer hunting either. And that's what I was about to do. My buddy and I jumped in his Winnebago and headed to Madison, Wisconsin to meet up with a friend and some other deer hunters that were going to take us out into the beautiful Madison rolling hills and do a deer hunt. When we got there and met these guys, they looked like an ad out of Hunting magazine. They had on the camouflage up from head to toe. They had the hats that matched the camouflage group. It seemed like a knife was hanging from every orifice on their clothes. And they took us out and set me well before dawn at a location that was by a tree that had a fence out in front of me. I was in the tree line, and out in front of me was this beautiful open space of a meadow. My instructions were, sit there and don't move, don't leave until somebody comes back and gets you, and watch for deer. Well, this was before dawn. I was sitting there. It was cold. It had just snowed the night before. It was absolutely magnificent. And I was thinking, well, I'm not really at a deer hunt. I'm at a snipe hunt. They've got me here. I'm sitting here and nothing's going to happen. A little bit after dawn, my senses came to attention. I had heard this just about that soft. And I looked down the fence line, and this deer had jumped out from behind these trees over the fence and was now about 30 yards out in front of me, just trotting along right across my field of vision. I raised that gun and realized that my heart was pounding like a drum. I could feel my blood coursing through every toe and every finger that I had. My breath, I couldn't breathe. I was like this. And so I thought, I've got to compose myself. I let that gun down a little bit. I took a breath, and at that instant, that deer recognized that there was something not right in the world, and it stopped, and it looked right at me from about 30 yards out. I put the gun back up. I sighted this gun that I had never shot before or sighted in before this trip. Took one shot, that deer fell and never got back up. Here's this guy in his ski bibs, these funny boots, these ugly looking coat, a funny hat, and these other 7 guys that are dressed to the hilt, that I'm the only guy that shot the deer that day. So in my learning experience with this, from the regretful part, I learned, watch what you do, be careful, and don't hurt people with something that you don't know much about. In my athletic part, I learned the joy of participating on the team and the confidence that it brought from being in athletics. From that part with the hunting, I, to this day, will adjust my stride to not step on a worm or a spider or a bug or to kill anything. Because being a part of killing something changed my life. And I encourage you to take a look at your once-in-a-lifetime shots and see how they may have taught you something. Thank you.